Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from Let's Get Dirty Garage. Listen, we really appreciate all the subscribing and watching and the comments. We read them all, really enjoy the feedback. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I mean, you've been such an inspiration and support of everything that we're doing. I know my wonderful husband has been doing so much, and I want to be more of a part of it. However, just working and everything else, so I want to get just as dirty. So
You do.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just not always on tape.
Yeah. And as you can see behind us, the Elco is wearing her ugly Christmas sweater, so got the Festivus mood going on. But today, she's going to get a new floor pan for Christmas, so we're actually going to start the construction instead of the destruction. Destruction is a little fun, but construction has got to happen at some point. So
We always love that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we're Let's Get Dirty.
So anyways, thanks a bunch, and thanks for watching, and let's go
Merry
ahead.
Christmas, guys.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and let's get dirty. Is this thing on? Yeah. Well, time to start the big projects. So next on the list is trying to figure out how to put that in there. So as I've explained before, I really stink at welding, so should be interesting. A lot to learn here, and start cleaning this up, see how much of that we actually need. I don't think we need a full panel, but at least back in the rear here where the ventilation holes are, and probably up through, looks like we've got a little through hole there, pretty bad pitted, so maybe make that cut up along the front of that brace there. So time to get out the sparkly wheel of terror and start cutting things up, I think. So should be interesting. All right, doing a little bit more digging here. It seems like there's a factory seam, puts like the front half down the firewall to the floor pan here, but got some damage up in that corner and a little bit up here where it's in front of that seam. So I may just patch those in and try and put that floor pan in with that original seam, since the pan is over the top of the cowl panel there. And then try and keep it away from this edge. As you can see, the floor pan actually goes underneath the rocker, so really can't get to that. So gonna cut it down in here someplace, make that patch along there. Made some marks, trying to avoid, first off, just trying to avoid, there's two supports that run cross car here and then cross car back here. So I'm just going to cut out these center sections in between the in the supports, and then we can get at trying to get the spot welds and so on drilled out and fun stuff like that. So get it separated. So we'll get at making some noise. sure gonna come out a lot easier than it's gonna go in. We can start playing with the welds up underneath there. We'll figure out how high we want to go with all that stuff, but I'm going to get another section out. Alright, well I do have a spot weld drilling disconnect tool, but we'll see how much this we can get out of here with, since it's so rusty. Break it out a little bit and then we can grind those welds off. Basically anything you can get up underneath there and get that separated with will work. Quite as rusty over there. Tackle one spot at a time, I guess. Alright, there you have it. Got that piece out. I'll continue on with the front and be able to go from there. Alright, I'm going to see if I can drill out these spot welds that attach the pan, that overlap of the pan to that cowl panel. See if we can't get that front edge loosened up, because I'd kind of like to keep that factory seam if possible. We'll see, I don't know. But just got to drill a pilot hole, and then got the fancy little spot weld driller thing off of the Amazon site. A couple of bucks. We'll see if it works. That's one there. Not sure if there's one right there or not. It's kind of pitted and rusty, so we'll see. All right, let's see how well this magic weld eraser works. And now if I got those deep enough in there, metal should separate. Yep. Drilled one too far, but patch that up from the bottom side. So, all right, I'm gonna get cutting on this section. See if we can't get this front part out. All right, here we go. Okay. Well, I think if we're careful, we can probably save that overlap there. Have to plug weld those from the bottom side, and then we'll plug weld the other ones from the top side. So I think we're in pretty good shape there, but should be able to save that factory seam, I hope. Looking good so far. All right, on this section, I think I cleaned that up a little bit. Found the, at least as many spot welds as I could find. I'm gonna carefully slice the edges here so I don't get into the cross member. And then I think I'll drill out those spot welds, see if I can get that off a little easier than this back one here. So we'll get that one started. Oh, and by the way, I think childproofing is a scam. I mean, think about it. Spend all that time and energy and money childproofing your house, and somehow they still get in. Oh, back to getting this done. All right, now let's do a little drilling. Jeez. right, let's see if we can't get these popped out without going through. That part's gonna be a rusty old dog, so I couldn't even tell where the spot welds were. Guess I didn't need to. All right. One floor pan removal. Now I've got a bunch to clean up. I'll try and clean up these edges and corners and things, and then we will try and do some test fitting of the new ones. So there you have it. Well, a couple of hours of cutting and wire wheeling and grinding and some minor hearing loss has gotten us to this point. So got pretty much everything cleaned up on edges and got the spot welds ground down to the point where you can get them flush. Cleaned up the cuts, cleaned up the cross members best as I could, and got kind of the transition smoothed out and all that great stuff. So I think I'm gonna have to get some weld through primer and primer up those cross members a little bit before we put that pan in, but just kind of laying out what I want to do with the new one. This is kind of where that factory seam, that overlap, so I'm going to cut it off along that channel there, and then kind of mark the edges. A little tough to see, sorry about that, but kind of marked off a spot where I think I can actually kind of test fit it down in there. So cutting that one off a little bit is next, and then we'll throw it down in there and take a test fit. Okay, let's see. How far off we are. right, we'll get in there for a closer look. All right, I'm just stepping down on this for the moment. Get a little bit of tension in there, but intentionally left that long all the way around so it would set down in there. And that way I can mark off kind of exactly where I want to cut that off. Looks like I've got to finesse those corners just a little bit, bring those out, but I think that's a good starting point. And now I'm going to mark off some spots where screw those down to those cross members and get it held down in there, and then do some marking on where I want to do my final trimming and cutting and so on. And we did find in the tunnel a couple of spots that are going to need patched, but we can take care of that. But I think for first try, we are closing in on it. Okay, ran just a couple of self-tappers down through there to hold it down. Tried to align that feature up here in the front with the stampings. Had to shift this panel a little bit towards the center, but just put one up there, one on this cross member, one back here on this cross member, and get that held in there. And then what I'll do from there is kind of make a mark all the way around where I really want to cut that down and make the weld line, and then pull that out one more time, cut it off nice and clean, put it back in one more time, and try and mark up the sheet metal on the car and see if we can't get some matching going on. So that's where we're at. All right, second test fit. Generally pretty happy with the way things are buttoned up. Got a little bit here I'm going to cut down around, make sure I don't get into welding on the seat belt hole, so make a little relief in that. But some finessing in these back corners, a little bit here. I think I can push that into place while I'm welding. But up along this edge, looks like it's laying pretty good. A little bit in that corner and a little bit in here, but remember this is going to drop straight down after I get the body metal cut, and that should tuck up underneath there. But other than that, just a couple of little spots, but I think that's pretty good for second time through. This is a iterative process. Ooh, that's a big word, iterative. So you got to do it over and over again. But anyways, I think it's in pretty good shape right now. It looks like it's laying down in there pretty decent, and just use those same 3 holes in order to line everything up with the trim lines and so on, and actually comes out pretty good. Let's see if you can see that. But those lines line up pretty good. Got the center aligned, and then that side actually pretty good. So should be able to follow along with the original stampings, and that should work well. The seam sealer goes up in there, and then the patches up in the corners and stuff we'll deal with. We'll cut out of what's left over on that other pan and put that into place. And don't know if I can get the sparkly wheel of terror in there. Probably have to do a Dremel cut or something on those, so we'll figure that out as we go along. But second fit, pretty happy with it. We'll make some progress from there. Okay, well, it's now down in there. This side actually looks pretty good. Corner's got a little bit of a gap in there, but that's good. Where I really got a lot of work to do is over on this side. So you can see that dropped down a lot further than I could suck it down with the screw. So got some slivers and patching to do as I spot weld along that side. So that should be interesting given my welding skills, but I'll get everything cleaned up. I'm gonna drill out the holes that I need to for putting plug welds in instead of the spot welds, and then get some primer and ready to clean up and on to making sparks with a metal melter. So I've got the supports all primed and primed up. We're going to do the overlap weld, and also got primer on the back side of the patch panel. So now I'm going to set that down in place and get it lined up and actually start some welding, make some more sparks. All right, well, the process of this is really pretty simple. It's just tedious. Basically, there's about a bazillion spot welds. Got to do them one at a time, and probably, I don't know, maybe 3-4 inches apart, and just kind of work a way around, even it up as I go, and then kind of stack the tacks the next bunch around just right next to it, and just keep going until get basically everything filled in. I'm going to do the spot welds or the plug welds last, just to make sure I can get everything in on the sides. I got it fitting a little bit better. Got the gaps evened out a little bit, so it won't be nearly as troublesome to weld, but just want to try and do a little bit of spot at a time, so avoid any warpage, and we'll see what we can come up with. So we'll go from there. Wish me luck. Well, the floor pan is all in and welded up nice and solid. Do have the pinholes fixed up in here, and do have this patch in. Got a little bit of cleanup I want to do on that yet, but basically all the plug welds came out fine, and along the sides, it's important to really note at this point. One, I mean, here I gotta do a replacement on the tunnel, so I really didn't fill that in yet, but it's important to note that, these, I wasn't chasing a perfectly metal finished weld, because it's really easy to try and find that pretty weld that's under the structurally sound weld, and that's what you get here, and get you the opportunity to put in another patch, especially with sheet metal. If you're grinding on it, trying to get everything perfectly metal finished, then really easy to get thin spots in it, and when it's blue, you're through. So that's why I had to put in a couple little patches around that corner. Got a little bit greedy on it, so make sure, to me it's much more important to have a structurally sound weld than it is to have a pretty one. I'm going to finish the metal finish and finish off the bottom of this one anyways when the body comes off the frame, so that way it's nice looking from the underside. There's many ways to finish that off, and we'll show that when we get that up on everything. But everything looks good, nice and solid, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Wish I was better at welding, but I got a lot of practice at grinding, so that's always good. Well, that's going to do it for that's going to do it for this edition of Let's Get Dirty Garage. Hope you enjoyed it. Listen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.